Hello again, thanks for joining, and here's what we've got coming up on this video. We've got Roco number 4219. This is a Dutch coach. We're going to have a look at it now. So here is the model in its box. I did buy this secondhand, but we're going to have a look and see what we've got inside here. Just a quick look at the box first. It's faring not too bad. It's got some shelfware here where the edge of the box has taken a few scuffs. You can see the number here, 4219, and a picture of the coach inside. No details about what the coach is though, but we're going to have a look. Let's open this up. So here we have the model in the polystyrene tray, and we can see that we've got some extras here as well. So on this side we have what looks to be some extra couplings and maybe one or two other parts that we can fit onto this coach. And at this side we've got some transfers, I guess for different destinations. Some more parts that we can fit onto it. This looks like extra couplings. So let's get this coach out and have a look. So one of the things I noticed straight away about this coach is it is very heavy. I initially thought it might have been powered, but it isn't. But it does have the weight of something that does have a motor inside it, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with this. So we'll start at this end of the coach. You can see it has these triple doors, which is quite an interesting feature. I've not seen that on a coach before. It's very nicely molded. You can see the hinges of the doors and the door handles, and it also has these steps going down to the ground. As we move along the coach, we can see that there's some printed details here, I guess third class. And there's some very fine detail printed here on the chassis, which you can barely read with the naked eye. You can see the NS for the Dutch Railways logo, which is also mirrored up here along with the coach number. And finally down this end of the coach you can see it's got third class again, and it has this arrow saying in, so I guess you go in these doors and out the other doors. Interestingly, the doors at this end, there's only 2 of them, whereas at the other end there are 3. So this is an interesting prototype that they've chosen to model here. At this end of the coach you can see that it has some glazing on the end, and even here where the gangway doors are. And this part here, the connector, is very well molded, and it's even got these nice little details on the side here as well. At the other end of the coach it's slightly different. It's obviously a driving coach because it has these yellow flashes up here with red dots. It has some lights with glazing, and it also has this red panel here. Unfortunately this is letting the model down a little bit. The yellow has got a lot of fuzziness going around the edges, as has the red. That's really letting it down. The moulding's so good. They could have done a bit better on the printing. Silver roof, which has got this nice guttering all the way around and this great rivet detail across the top. It's also got these added on air vents which are moulded in black. Here though we see a moulding mark, which is a bit of a shame. That could have been cleaned up or hidden somehow. That's really spoiling the roof of this coach. The glazing has these ridges which have been picked out in orange to represent a window frame, but it has no other frame around it. But it does have really good rivet detail, and the glazing is almost flush as well. So you can see through the glazing no problem to the interior, but you do see like through the doors here that there are some cables going up. So I'm guessing this coach has got lighting in it. And similarly at this end it also has some wiring going up to the roof. So that's a bit of a shame that you can see that. It could have been tucked away and hidden. Down here on the bogies there's a lot of relief on the moulding. You can see it's very well defined springs, and the axle boxes are really nice as well. The brakes are close to the wheel, but they're not actually in line. That's a bit of a shame. It could have been made a little bit better there, but it's a very nice moulding. The couplings are cantilever as well. It'll need that to get around the corners. And you can see just underneath the coupling there's a screw at each end, and there's also one in the middle if you need to take this model apart. Here you can see the Roco logo and the made in Austria, and there's also some other printed details here, including these air tanks and pipework. And you can see on the side of the chassis here these boxes and extra parts moulded, and it's really been done very nicely. So let's give the lighting a go on this coach. Okay, we've set it up on a piece of test track here. I'm just going to put some power into it. So that's really good. The lights are very bright and they work very well. So this is the driving end of the coach, and you can see that its lights also come on, but they're not distinguished from the rest of the coach. So that's a bit of a shame. It could have been done a little bit better there, but it's certainly very nice that this coach lights up. So this coach from Roco seems to be a really interesting prototype. This take on the model though, it does have some limitations and some things that really let it down. So for example, the moulding mark on the roof, I think that's really not very good, and also the fuzziness on the driver end around the bed and the yellow, that could have been easily improved. And finally, the window frames are not very good. It almost looks as though they've got curtains, and I know that's not the case, so that's a bit of a letdown as well. However, that said, the moulding is very good and there's a lot of detail on the chassis. One final thing to note is that this coach is quite heavy, and I noticed it isn't very free running as well when I had it on the track, so it might be a limitation on the locomotive that's pushing or pulling this coach, especially if it's part of a longer train, so that's something you need to take into consideration if you're thinking about getting this model. My recommendation is that if you're particularly wanting this model or modelling the Dutch railways of this era, then I think this would be a fantastic addition to your layout. But if you're not, then I think I'd probably pass on this one. There's a number of limitations of this coach, and I think there's some better ones out there. Anyway, I'll put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around it, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, it really helps this channel, and you can subscribe to enjoy more videos like this. But that's it for today. See you next time.